because if you just force someone to behave in a way that they don't really feel in their heart, then you're not really fixing the problem.
Oh yeah, so right. So look, I'm sure everybody running a slaughterhouse doesn't feel in their heart any need to give a damn about the animals' rights, to treat them humanely, or to spend the extra 10 cents to do it right. Okay? So we should just let them do what they feel, right? We shouldn't have any public policy that says, no, that's wrong, it's unproductive, it's stupid, it's wasteful, it's insipid behavior. No, we're not going to allow you to mistreat an animal just so you can sell your damn hot dogs. I mean, what the fuck are you advocating? And like I said, there's no evidence that the general population, the common denominator that you complain about, will stand up against any of it. So you have no right or no rationale or no excuse whatsoever to make this argument that somehow it all will come out okay if we don't have a law. And somehow you don't think it'll come out all okay if we don't have a welfare law and a public education law and an environmental law. No, somehow those things can't be done by the public. The public can't wave its finger at the dirty polluter and say, I won't do business with you because you're a dirty polluter. So we have to have laws to do that shit. But we don't need a law to do the fairness in hiring and the fairness in public accommodation and the fairness in being able to live somewhere in this country as an individual.
You're just sweeping it under the rug. You're just saying, it doesn't matter what you actually feel, but you have to act this way. And I think that's how...
Yeah, that's about every friggin' law we have says that thing. It doesn't matter what you feel, you have to act. All right? Doesn't matter if you think you can drive well when you're drunk. You're not allowed to drive when you're drunk. Doesn't matter if you think you're a competent driver, because we say you're not.
These issues don't get resolved. I think that's why there's still racism today. I think that...
And that's why I call you a fucktard, because if you think that's the origins of racism, laws that prevent it from actualizing itself and causing segregation and discrimination and ruining people's lives, if you think that is what's caused racism, you really are an idiot.
If you make people confront each other, if you make people actually argue about these issues face to face, then I think eventually people start to come.
Oh yeah, well, people have argued it face to face, and it doesn't do any good. That's like Christians and atheists arguing it face to face. What good is it going to do for you to sit there and argue face to face with Sarah Palin or whoever? It's not going to do you any fucking good.
Consensus. But if you just pass a law and say this is the rule, I think that people just put on one face in public and then they believe what they believe in private, and I think that's...
Yeah, and what the fuck is wrong with that? What the hell is wrong with that? What the hell's wrong with child molesters jerking off in their own living room to fantasies and not acting it out on the streets? I guess there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with keeping stupid behavior in people's living rooms and not allowing it to flow all over our fucking civilization. I mean, it's the reason why you have damn laws. I mean, if you can believe in laws for one reason, this is a good... This cause is not like the 10th cause or the 40th cause or the 100th law cause. This is like right up there at the top. There's no point in having law if you can't respect the fundamental right of people to be treated as fucking individuals.
Harmful to a society. I think that's corrosive. And I know people disagree with me on that. Like Mendham, and my problem with Mendham has never been that he's disagreed with me. It's been that he is a total twat about it.
Yeah, whatever. We had our argument before this issue even came up. Okay? Yeah, I think you're a total twat about every subject. I mean, what argument do you ever present? What debate do you ever engage in that doesn't have, that isn't defined by a bunch of rhetoric? I mean, that's all it is. It's just rhetoric, just games with words. Okay, you're a very good player of a game with words, but what real substance do you ever fucking talk about?
There's no respectful disagreement there. It's just like, you're wrong, so fuck you.
Well, how can I respect it? I mean, damn, it's one of the most fundamental values, I think. I mean, they could define civilization. I mean, it's one of the top 3 things or something, at least. I don't know what the top number is. Maybe it's the top 1. I don't know. I mean, yeah, the free speech thing is important, and there's a few things, but equal protection is, you know, the 14th Amendment, it should be this First Amendment. I mean, the idea that people will be treated as individuals and be treated fairly, that's the whole idea. Why bother having the game if the game isn't intended to be fair? So, yeah, God damn it. Why, how can I possibly not... I mean, how can, you know, it's not a small disagreement. It's a big, giant disagreement. I mean, it's fundamental to everything I see as rational and reasonable in the word civilization.
And I think, you know, there are certain positions that warrant that approach. If you don't believe in evolution, despite all the physical, empirical evidence for evolution, then you deserve to be smacked over the head and say, well, you're a fucking idiot. But
yeah, so you think it's, you know, evolution, a subject where we don't have a videotape of it, we don't have a recorded history of it, you know, but that I would have the right to bash somebody over the head with, but I don't have a right to bash you over the head with the fact that we enslaved people, the fact that we went to war and spent $1 trillion basically because we said fucking crazy Muslims, or some other bullshit. I mean, we see what it does to us. I mean, the us and them scenario exists. We see it every weekend on television with the 4 million little games being played and all the people on the different sides of the stands, you know, rooting for the green team over the blue team. And this is completely irrelevant nonsense. And you don't think that's bad psychology? It's not this kind of psychology. It's fine for people to have a personal psychology that is fucked up. Like I said, if it doesn't go outside of their living room, but you don't convert it into social policy. I mean, you're suggesting that a society's policy should be as stupid and embrace that kind of individual nonsense.
If you simply hold a differing opinion on some social matter for which, you know, there's either no evidence or evidence on both sides, and I think that, you know, that's when you have a civil discussion.
Yeah, I just don't see where is your evidence on both sides. I mean, at least the anarchists have some hope of making an argument because they're not defending environmental laws and welfare payments and public education, and you know, you probably advocate for health care too, so I should be taxed out of my house to pay for somebody else's medical benefits. I mean, you think all those are our responsibilities, but you don't put treating people fairly on that list of responsibilities. I mean, damn it.
Talk about your differences, but unfortunately people like in Mendham never want to do that. They just want to have their world where they're always right, and they don't ever want to discuss anything with anybody.
Yeah, where's the evidence of that? Like I said, I mean, where's the evidence that I don't want to discuss it? I mean, yeah, I'm going to argue sometimes, and yeah, I'll argue a little bit passionately, and I'll pull out whatever weapons I have in some arguments because I think it's goddamn important. Just like you said, you're gonna bash people over the head with something sometimes because that's what you feel resorted to. So yeah, this is a subject I'm going to bash people over the head with. And I'm not going to have a whole lot of tolerance for. Yeah, I'm going to be right and you're going to be wrong. That's right. There's a point where I'm just going to say, yes, I'm right, you're fucking out of your mind insane. And I've done that with a couple of people, and I've cut off the conversation. All right? Because they're going to keep saying things like, well, there's 2 million black men in jail. Like that's supposed to mean something. That's evidence of something. Well, it's not evidence of shit, and you know it's not evidence of shit. Well, anyway, so there's really, how can you really have a rational debate on this subject? There's nothing to rationally debate. This is simple, rational policy. You do not allow our subjective bullshit, prejudices and preferences to define social policy. I mean, you really don't. That's what the whole point of social policy, that's what it exists to do, is to keep that within some sort of boundary, to keep that within control so it doesn't harm people. And there's no fucking way that racism in hiring and where people are accommodated living and how they live, there's no fucking way that racism in those things does not harm people. It fucking harms them.
So, whatever.